Alright, with so few changes this patch, we aren't gonna mix no words in this one, boys. Here are some of the most OP champions in patch 14.15 in no particular order. Starting off with Camille. If you've watched any of our videos over the past couple of months, you know how often we have mentioned this champion, and yet every week when we do a Broken Champs video, she shows up again. So for all of the Camille players out there, keep on keeping on and grinding away at that LP, as I'm sure most of you guys are approaching Challenger at this point. If you are a Camille hater, then prepare yourself for yet another painful couple of weeks. So Camille tops the charts because she can do everything. She can have a strong early game with a solid gank setup in E and W. She can play passive and outscale just about every opponent if you feel the need to dodge those risky fights. You can roam if the matchup becomes stale and boring. A simple hook shot into mid or the enemy jungle may give you and your team the lead that they need to break open the map. And not to mention the standard Camille build of Trinity Force and Ravenous Hydra means every single component is cheap and able to give you a method of slowly power creeping as you build. The only weakness Camille has is 3 bad matchups, the first being Poppy. She can completely nullify your influence in the game. The second is Jax. His whole kit is designed to match and take down yours. And the third is ADC top laners. And if you do not get ganks to help you out, you may just be left to suffer and you might not scale up quite in time. Other than that, Camille is OP. Up next, just like the universe itself predicted, Aurora top lane. The early game is all about playing your range advantage to get ahead in items, while the enemy simply gets kited out by your stealth and Qs. You manage waves to your liking, and at every crash of a slow push, you can poke any enemy to near half HP or lower with a proper combo. The ability to dip into the spirit world lets you escape most ganks as long as the enemies don't have a hardcore gap closing ability. With her build now being figured out involving Rod of Ages, Leandries and Cosmic Drive, we think her true strength lies within the unknown. What we mean by this is that every new champion goes through a phase of being permabanned on release, and as of right now, Aurora is sitting at a 60% ban rate, meaning if you practice Aurora, you will have an edge whenever you are able to lock her in. If you go into an Aurora game without any info, however, it is safe to say you are going to look like a first-time NA player, and if you don't know what that means, it means you're going to be overconfident and die lots. And hey man, if you're looking to master any champions that we are covering in this happy little list, then make sure to head on over to GameLeap.com via the link down below at the top of the video description. Visit GameLeap, sign up and unlock access to hundreds of Challenger Coach authored guides, covering every aspect of LoL you can think up, including macro guides, laning masterclasses, and courses for every champion in the game. So click that link, sign up, and start blasting. Alright man, now for the junglers. Jungle at the moment is actually pretty balanced, and by that we mean that nothing really stands out above the rest. With the nerfs to Shyvana, it only leaves Lilia up as the queen of the jungle, but not by a whole lot. With the prior nerfs to Fated Ashes, the jungle pool has opened up once again to a wide variety of champions. If you like being an aggressive AD carry, you can go Kindred or Kha'Zix, and if you prefer AP still, go Udyr or Lilia. So rather than naming an OP champion for jungler in specific, let's just give out 2 solid tips for junglers that are having some trouble clearing their LP goals. The first tip is jungle is easy if you do 2 things. 1. Mute your team's communications, and 2. Full clear towards the lane you want to help win. We cannot stress enough how clouded one's judgment can become if all you hear is assist pings and all you see is your teammates typing jungle diff 3 minutes into the game. Identify the lane you wish to path to and do that by learning lane matchups. If you can't decide between ganking for your Camille top or Ezreal Janna bot, then study up at GameLeap because we will teach you where to go. The second tip for junglers is understand what your jungle champion's win condition actually is. If you are playing Kindred or Kha'Zix, your goal in the game is not to stack objectives. It's nice, but your primary goal should be to hunt for kills. Learn to play in the enemy jungle, find enemies who are pathing back to lane and wait for them. If you are playing champions like Shyvana and Lilia, then your goal is prioritize objectives over kills. You want to scale up into later stages in the game, so grabbing early grubs or even one early dragon can go a long way. As a matter of fact, your timer for fighting is at these objectives, so communicate to your team that you need them to be at Dragon or Baron 1 minute ahead of time. These 2 tips will help you to climb all the way to Diamond, guaranteed. LeBlanc still runs the mid lane with how the current meta is. Solo queue is an environment where assassins flourish. While we do not see them in pro play anymore, it is because in solo queue, the lack of communication mixed with the egos all around means if you are a disciplined LeBlanc player, you will get rewarded before you hit level 4. Common trend with LeBlanc players is that many of them tend to be too telegraphed in lane. They all seem to walk up intending to use Q and W for a quick and easy trade. Well, here is where we improve and don't give away our presence. Before taking a trade, try to take space by walking up when you have a slow push or if the freeze you plan on holding doesn't have an overbearing amount of creeps that will hurt you when you trade. Walking up establishes your ability to control the wave and give you the chance to manipulate your enemy's movements. If you walk up and instead of instantly queuing your opponent, try just throwing a few autos to see if they will walk up and trade back. If they do, then Q, W them and get out. If they try to run, auto them until you notice their dodging pattern. From there, throw a chain and CC them for a full combo. LeBlanc is all about bluffing, after all she does play off of smoke and mirrors. Vex is another great champion for mid lane, with the top 5 champions list on u.gg stating Aurora, LeBlanc, Yasuo, Yone and Vex as the top champions. Notice how Vex is not quite like the others. It is because she is what counters the others. Being able to manage your passive ability proc is crucial to Vex gameplay, so make sure every spell you use, there is an intention behind it. If you want to control the wave, then use everything on the wave and then run away. Don't fish for an extra auto or Q. If you wish to fight or poke, then establish space just like in the LeBlanc tips, walk past the wave and see how the enemy reacts. If they try to fight you in the wave, press W on their engage to shut down their dash and combo them. If they are low enough, then chase them down with autos. If they are not low enough, then just back up because Vex is very dependent on her passives and spells. Many champions can get away with having at least 1 or 2 spells up, but Vex really does need all 3 of her abilities to pull off a proper trade. Make sure to look for roams, as using your R from Fog is one of the best ways to assist your team and gives you one of the highest possible chances of landing it. Now for AD carry. And AD carry is a mess right now, with only 3 options for you to choose from if you are trying to abuse the best ADCs. It's really more like 2 options, in fact. The first option is Misfortune. This champion after the W rework is beyond broken, as having one of the best built-in attack speed steroids in a basic ability is crazy. We thought Tristana's Q before adding a mana cost was nuts, while MF's new W blows it out of the park because it already gave a ridiculous amount of movement speed and now it is a method of fighting. This is mental. If that wasn't enough, there also are not many counters to MF right now, as the ADC role is currently under siege by Riot Games, apparently. All of these nerfs stem from solo lanes abusing ADC champs, and so now the ADC role as a whole has to bear the punishment. But with the recent item nerfs to Static Shiv and Kraken, it means Misfortune's BT rush build is even stronger now since it was left alone. So, if you're in the market for free LP, and who isn't, lock in MF and bullet time your way to victory. The other 2 options are basically 2 sides of the same coin. Ashe and Jhin both have risen to the top, not because they are strong, but because everything else is kinda crap. Yes, we are back to the meta where hard carry ADCs are in the dirt once again, so we resort back to utility ADCs until the role has been fixed. Jhin still uses static pretty well even after the nerfs because his Q still takes out the wave after anyways, and being able to help stall out the game until 3 items means at the end of the day, he hasn't changed, so the playstyle and gameplay remains the same as well. Ashe is just like Jhin, however you are much stronger early game, so I'd like you guys to use it. A good habit to get into with Ashe is forcing a fight to the death level 1. As long as you add versus Nautilus and Driven, almost every bot lane regardless of your own support can win a 2v2 level 1. The Frost Shot passive increasing your damage on slowed targets makes it insanely hard for enemies to outtrade you, as well as making it tough for them to disengage. Not to mention, if you take approach velocity, the enemy doesn't stand a chance at running away without burning a summoner or losing a lot of HP. Camp out the enemy lane bush and start the fight right from there. The support role is in a state of rock, paper, scissors, with rock being Leona, paper being Braum, and scissors being Lulu. Leona is the brute force CC bot she has always been, and won't stop going forward until a Nexus blows up. Leona allows for you to win early with these utility ADCs that lack damage, because your Sunlight passive proc makes up for that. You also have an easier time roaming, knowing the ADC role is in shambles right now in terms of damage, so dives and forces are harder to initiate. If the bot lane becomes too boring, then roam mid or follow your jungler. Braum is the best counter to Leona as an unstoppable force meets a divine shield. Braum can dash to his ADC if Leona engages on them with his W, then pop his E to prevent the enemy ADC from piling on the hurt. You both end up building tank stats for your team, but because you can create space with R and block damage, with E it means that Leona really has to choose her engages carefully to work around your entire existence if you are piloting Braum as a counterpick. This does mean that you should not blind pick Braum, as Lulu will outscale you in 10 minutes. Because Braum is short-ranged, if he misses a Q, he won't have another form of engage other than W auto or flash auto. As Lulu, this means that as long as you play at your range, you can tether autos and poke between him and his ADC throughout the entire lane phase. A tip for Lulu players is to save your support item auto for Braum, as your auto plus picks means double gold and you'll get wards so much faster if you stack autos off cooldown. There isn't really much else to say, is you should not overcomplicate this matchup, play at range and outscale, as enchanter items outscale tanks with little to no engage. And alright, if you feel we missed any absolutely busted champions this patch, do make sure to post them down below in the comments. It's always interesting to check out your guys' take. And remember to sign up to GameLeap.com via the link down below at the top of the video description box. Sign up to GameLeap, unlock access to our library of hundreds and hundreds of guides authored by challenger coaches, and take your game to the next level, goddammit. For now, thanks for watching. Do please enjoy the rest of your day, and we're going to catch all of you guys just a tad bit later.